It's good to be here again. Welcome to Destination Cross River Policy Opportunity Podcast. My name is Janice Kobum, and of course, this is the African Diaspora Channel in collaboration with CRBC, Cross River Broadcasting Corporation. And it's so good to be back here to talk about issues, to talk about investment opportunities for those that want to invest in Cross River State. And so today we are going to be looking at the business environment in Cross River. Like someone had said earlier, 90% of individuals in Cross River State are private business people. So how can we make the environment conducive for them to thrive? That and more will be the crux of our conversation for today. And joining me to do that is no other person, a man with so many feathers to his cap. Please join me. Welcome the president of the Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, CALCCIMA, Mr. Kelly Ayamba, FCA. Thank you so much for joining us. But before you say anything, I'm going to reel out your profile properly. Of course, Mr. Kelly has so many feathers to his cap, like I had said before. He was a one-time commissioner for finance in Cross River State. He's also the first deputy president of the Coalition of South-South Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, CALCCIMA. He's also a past state chairman, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN. He is a past state chairman, the Chartered of Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN. He is also past zonal chairman of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN South-South Zone, past South-South Zonal Coordinator of the ICANN Public Sector Accountability Index, and of course, former Special Advisor to the Governor and Commissioner for Finance, Cross River State. Come on, drum rolls! This is so much, like it's rich. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelly Ayamba, for being here with us. Don't forget, this is Destination Cross River Policy and Business Opportunity Podcast. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Janice. My pleasure to be here.
Definitely. So I'm going to ask you one question. I like to make my guests very comfortable before we start the conversation proper. So I'm going to ask you one question. If you had a superpower, what is that one thing that you would like to do? If you had like a superpower right now?
I'll change Nigeria.
Like become the president or something?
I'll just change Nigeria to be what it should be.
Like what exactly in Nigeria do you want to change? Like the very first thing you're going to change?
You know, Nigeria is a great country with so many opportunities, but I think leadership has been a big problem.
Okay.
And if I had that superpower, for God Almighty, I'll give Nigeria the leader and the leadership that she deserves to bring out the potentials in this country.
Fantastic. Thank you so much once again. Now let's go into the crux of the matter. We are looking at the business environment in Cross River State. Let's start from you as the president of the Calabar Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. How has it been since your assumption of office?
Well.
I think you're barely 1 year in office.
Not up to a year.
That's what I'm saying.
We got elected in June 2025. And it's been quite a busy schedule for me. The Chamber of Commerce in Cross River State, called the Calabar Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, is the second Chamber of Commerce in Nigeria, established in 1942, coming only after the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And the chamber is made up of two main governing bodies, the Executive Committee and, of course, the Executive Council. The Executive Committee is both the Council and the Committee are headed by the president, supported by a deputy president, and about 10 vice presidents who are responsible for various sectors of the economy. We have a vice president for business development. We have a vice president for TINAPA and free tourism. We have a vice president for agriculture, hospitality and tourism, and so on. So we have vice presidents that take charge of the various sectors of the economy and follow through that. So it's been quite a very busy schedule for me. And I think we've tried our best to reposition the chamber to do what it is meant to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite exciting, quite challenging, and quite interesting, because you see, when you find yourself in a position where you can add value to society, it can be quite challenging but interesting, and fascinating. So I think that for me, it's been a good experience, especially where you have to advocate for the better business environment and for proper business policies for the business sector, for the economic sector. You're working for people, selflessly advocating for the interest of members and the business community. Okay, it's quite an interesting assignment, and I think I'm excited to lead the chamber this
so
time.
I just got to know that vice presidents for different sectors under the Calabar Chambers of Commerce, Mines, Industries, and Agriculture.
There's a president, there's a deputy president, and then we have about 10 vice presidents.
Oh, fantastic! Exactly. So it means that there is some level of shared responsibility.
Oh, sure.
In terms of the Chambers of Commerce. Yeah. But let's look at what you do specifically. When we hear CALCCIMA, Calabar Chambers of Commerce, what's that one thing that we should have in our mind that, look, these people are responsible for this?
Well, the Chamber of Commerce is a business membership organization. What that means is that it is made up of member businesses. Okay. The membership is open to businesses, companies and enterprises that do business in the state. So it's a business membership organization. And our main focus is on improving the business environment. The business environment, the operating environment for businesses to thrive, and advocating for this. We do a lot of advocacy. We do a lot of stakeholder engagement with the government and the key stakeholders that can help us to bring about this operating environment that is required for business to thrive. Okay. So we do a lot of engagement with the government. Government is, of course, the major regulator and other stakeholders. We carried advocacy visits and all that. The whole essence of the chamber is to ensure that the operating environment for business is good enough for businesses to thrive and do well. Okay.
But going by what you have said now, I know that government is, more like regulators, but is the Calabar Chambers of Commerce devoid of some influence from government?
No.
We're interferences.
We're very independent of government, but we work with government. Okay. Because you have to collaborate. You have to engage with government. The government is a major stakeholder in the economy, in bringing about economic development. So you must engage with the government. But we're not part of government. Okay. We just engage with the government and ensure that operating environment, that atmosphere is available for us to tell them what we think government needs to do to engender a better economic environment. Okay. So we engage with the government, all the commissioners, all the operators of government and other private sector stakeholders. We engage with them, try to find out what is happening, what the private business sector needs, and what government can do to bring about this, to satisfy these needs and bring about an operating environment and ensure that everybody contributes to the economic development of the state.
Okay, so we are going to talk about what businesses need to thrive in Cross River State. But before that, what kind of policies do we have? When you say we advocate for policies, what kind of policies do we have in Cross River State at the moment that is favorable to businesses? And what other kind of policies do we have that you think is unfavorable to businesses?
Okay, let me look at it from this point of view. The major concern of most businesses now, and especially effective from January 2026, is the tax.
It's fantastic. We're going to talk about that as well.
Policy of government. So we have experts in the chamber that x-ray this government policy, especially the current tax regime, and try to sensitize our members and, of course, the business community on how best they can take advantage of the opportunities in the tax regime, because there are a lot of incentives actually, and also how to comply so that you don't run foul of the law. So the tax policy, the operating environment for business, and how taxes affect business is one of our major areas of concern. And so far, I think the new tax policy, although a lot of fears about what it portends for business, I'm a tax practitioner, so I know that the tax policy is business friendly, very business friendly, especially for small businesses, the SMEs and so on, and even the startups. There are a lot of incentives for them to take advantage of the new tax policy. We get interested in this and we dissect this, analyze this for our members, and so on. We also look at the security situation. What is government doing about security? And so far, so good in Cross River State. I think that the security environment is good enough. There's been a lot of relatively peaceful environment. Crime rate is very low. Cross River State is actually rated as one of the most peaceful states. And I think that this government has done a lot. I had an engagement with the special advisor and the security advisor for South, and he told me a few things that they're doing. If you notice, there has been no incident of kidnapping and all those kind of very serious crimes that we used to hear in the past. So I think the government has done well. The security environment in the state is good enough for business to thrive. And then we also look at what are the investment policies? What are those incentives and policies of government that support investment? And we advise our members, and we also attract businesses to come into the state.
But what do you think are those incentives for businesses or investors that want to come in? I needed to talk about that before we progress further.
Okay, now in Cross River State, Cross River State has comparative advantage in tourism and agriculture.
Okay,
and so far the government is doing a lot to encourage investments in these sectors. In the agricultural sector, there is the 7-year strategic plan for the development of cocoa, cashew, and palms. And there are a lot of incentives in that direction in terms of even the supply of seedlings, for those who want to participate in that. And there's also the provision of finance, access to finance. For those who want to engage in this. For instance, the Cross River State government has just is partnering with the Bank of Industry. There's a matching fund of 2 billion naira for those who want to invest in the state and who have viable business ideas, to implement. So these funds, the Cross River State government has set aside is a matching fund. The Cross River State government brings in 1 billion, and the Bank of Industry also supports with the billion naira. So 2 billion naira is available for access by investors, in the state. In all sectors, actually, not in the agriculture sector. There's also, I know the government is supporting a lot of businesses in the tourism sector. The government is providing access or guaranteeing access to finance for those who have viable investments in the tourism sector, either to restructure the investment or to, revive them or revamp them, or to, prepare them to the stage where they can actually take off. I think the government is doing that. I'm aware that the government is doing that. So a lot of other incentives that are available. I think that if you engage with the line ministries, they'll tell you a lot about this. But we know that this is happening, especially the Bank of Industry, Cross River State government intervention. There's even the current one that is being implemented by MEDA. MEDA is Cross River State Microfinance and Enterprise Development Agency. There's a 500 million SMEDAN, MEDA, and Sterling Bank intervention. It's a managed fund that's available for SMEs in the state. And I think so far, from my discussion and interaction with the DG of MEDA, about 500 enterprises have been verified across the state, across the 18 local governments.
Okay, because I was going to ask, in all of these things that you say government is doing, how many Cross Riverians are cashing in on it?
That's what I'm just telling you. the DG Media informed us reliably, although we're not part of this initial one. We're working on arrangements to be part of the 2 billion naira so that we can help ensure that only businesses that are existing, not portfolio businesses, benefit from this and are able to also invest to improve the economy and make the economy viable in the state. So that 500 enterprises are reportedly verified across the 18 local governments of the state, and this fund is ready for disbursement already. So
fantastic. Let's dwell a little bit more on small businesses in Cross River State. What would you think is the major challenges, facing small businesses? But I would like us to dwell on taxation, because we had a resource person here, that spoke so much about small businesses in Cross River State. And one of the things he actually proffered as a solution was that if businesses, that are coming up in their first few years, maybe like 1 to 3 to 5 years, can be exempted from taxation, it will help these businesses. Because if, for example, I'm starting a business now, my first year I may not be making so much profit, or I may not even be making profit at all, because I'm trying to understand my business environment. So is there a way that, CALCCIMA can begin, you said you advocate. So is there a way that CALCCCIMA can begin to advocate for things like this and say, look, let small businesses be tax exempted for now? I don't know what the new tax reform says. You said it was very favorable to small businesses. So just shed a little bit of light on that.
I think a lot of enlightenment is required in this area. First, tax is based on profit.
Okay.
Tax is not levied on capital or on transactions, is levied on profit. So if you don't make any profit, you don't pay tax.
Okay.
And profit means turnover minus all expenses of the business, all expenses incurred in carrying on the business. All expenses have to be deducted. And then it's only the difference between your turnover and your expenses, which is profit, that can be taxed at the rate of 30%. Okay. But even having said so, there are a lot of incentives in the current tax regime for small businesses that are starting up. Now, for instance, under the new tax regime, businesses in the agricultural sector in the first 5 years are exempted from tax.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, they're exempted from tax.
Just the agricultural sector?
Agricultural sector in this particular instance.
Okay.
And then for all small businesses, again, the problem is that the issue that requires enlightenment is the structuring of your business. When you come up to do business, you must understand the structure of the business that you want to undertake. Now, under the new tax regime, all small businesses with turnover of up to 100 million are exempted from tax. Turnover of up to 100 million are exempted from tax.
Oh, fantastic. Now,
or assets of up to 250 million naira are exempted from tax. So you will have, if a small business that has an asset base of 1 naira to 250 million naira, you're exempted from tax.
Okay.
And you have a turnover of up to 100 million, you're exempted from tax. So it means that there's provision for new startups, because you can't just start making so much money. It means that all new businesses that are just starting up and trying to find their feet are actually exempted from tax.
Okay.
But this is for limited liability companies.
Okay, exactly. So there's a clause.
There's a clause for limited liability companies. The law provides for limited liability companies.
Okay.
I think that for those who are in enterprises, because enterprises are actually they're not taxed in their own name. They're taxed in the names of the owners of the enterprises.
Okay.
The enterprises are not taxed as, for instance, if you have Cocoa and Sons Enterprises, which is not a limited liability company. It's not Cocoa and Sons Enterprises that is taxed. It is the owner that is taxed on the basis of the profit made from that business.
Okay.
That's the way it works.
Okay.
So, again, profit. So if there's no profit, you're not taxed.
So how do government know that I am not making profit in reality?
Good. So the tax law specifically requires all businesses to keep proper records. You have to keep proper records of your operations. So when the taxman comes, he sees the record and knows that there's no profit. In fact, there's no magic. If you're not making profitable, you will know. Everybody will know. And the problem with most businesses is that they don't keep records. So when you don't keep records,
I'm asking the groundnut seller by the roadside or the shop owner by the roadside, what's his business or her business with keeping records? Now, all he knows is buy, sell, put money in pocket. Okay, I made this profit. I have to plunge it back into the business.
How do you know you made profit to plunge back into the business? You have to keep the records, because, and that is where we're getting it wrong. Keeping of records is not for tax purposes, for your own business review, for your own assessment, self-assessment of your business, how well your business is doing. When you keep records, you know that you bought groundnut, for instance, for 10,000 naira. And you sold for 12,000 naira, it means that the difference between your sales and your costs price is 2,000 naira. But again, it's not 2,000 naira that should be taxed because you must have paid transport to go and buy the groundnut. You must have paid rent. You must have paid. There's so many expenses. The law allows you to deduct every expense
that you have.
There used to be a rule we call the REN rule. It means that the expenses must be wholly. First, let me use wholly. REN means WREN.
Okay.
It must be wholly. It must be necessarily. It must be exclusively and necessarily incurred for running the business. Okay. But that REN rule has even been relaxed in the new tax rule. So once the expenses are properly incurred and documented, it means that they can be deducted from your turnover to arrive at to determine whether you made a profit or you did not make a profit.
Okay.
And it is only when you make a profit that you can pay tax.
Okay. Fantastic.
Exactly.
Now, I like that, when we want to have interviews like this, we give opportunity for people to ask questions. Yes. So still based on tax, a question was sent from someone that is interested in this conversation. And it says, does your chamber have any reservations with the current tax reforms as signed into law?
We really do not have any reservation. Well, I speak maybe as the president of the chamber, but I speak also as a tax practitioner.
Okay.
I'm a tax consultant. I know that the tax regime is the new tax regime is quite robust. The whole idea of this new tax regime is to consolidate taxes into one document. The tax laws have now been consolidated into one document.
Okay.
So you're not going to look for tax law A and tax law B in different law books.
Okay.
It's all in the Nigerian tax law. They're all encapsulated and contained in the tax law. For instance, before now, we used to have the Personal Income Tax Act, separate from the Companies Income Tax Act, separate from the Capital Gains Tax Act, Petroleum, all in different documents. But this new Nigerian Tax Acts have all these laws in one, so you're not looking for them in different documents. Okay, so it makes it easy for you to refer and also be able to understand the law so you can comply with it.
Okay.
Now, some of the challenges about incentives or maybe allowances to taxpayers. In the previous tax regime, we used to have what they call consolidated allowance for taxpayers. So, but in this current regime, all low-income earners who earn up to 800,000 naira are exempted from tax. So if you earn 800,000 naira for now, your tax rate is 0.
That's 800,000 as per yearly?
As per yearly, yes. Annually, yes.
Okay.
You pay 0 tax because under the tax table, that band of income has a 0 rate of tax. Okay. So only those who earn higher. The new tax regime is actually a progressive regime. It adopts a progressive tax system where only those who earn higher incomes are taxed.
Okay, but taxes. In summary, as we lay this tax conversation now to rest, in summary, would you say that the new tax policy, is friendly to businesses, especially for investors outside the country that wants to invest or rather come back to invest in Cross River State, for example?
I think it is very friendly. It is very friendly. In fact, the government needs to be commended. The the Tinubu administration, I think this is one of the good things that they have done.
Okay.
Even though there were controversies about whether there were changes in the version that was approved by the National Assembly and all that. But if you look at it very critically, the entire system is an improvement over what used to happen in the past. So I think it's friendly, and it's also very friendly to investments and investors who may want to invest in Nigeria.
Okay. Yeah. Now, let's look at collaborations now. What are the areas of collaborations would you desire from government and those in diaspora? What areas of collaboration? Yes.
Let me say this. For those in the diaspora who wish to come back to invest, the Nigerian economy is a growing economy. In fact, businesses and investment in Nigeria actually yield so much. I was just on Arise TV this morning. They were reeling out some profit figures for conglomerates that operate, not just in Nigeria, but their income they derive from Nigeria, because of the large population of Nigeria and the large market of Nigeria. There's a lot of investment opportunities, and most of these investments are profitable. So I think that the diaspora should take advantage of the operating environment in Nigeria and come back and invest. There's no investment that is made in Nigeria that will not be profitable. We have challenges, especially in power, in terms of power. Okay. That's a major challenge that if this government can resolve, the economy of Nigeria will grow at a very fast pace. Power is a major challenge. And of course, even when you have power now, the new ban A, ban B stuff, so people are paying more for power now, and it's quite expensive. But that shouldn't be an encouragement, because like I told you earlier,
discouragement rather.
It shouldn't be a discouragement, yes. Because like I told you earlier, every expense is deducted before arriving at what can be taxed at all.
Okay.
So there's no, except that for those who have money to invest and incur this expense, good. They should in a better position to make money from this country.
Okay.
Because the economy is growing and the opportunities are very, very wide and available for everybody. Yes.
Okay, but I was expecting you to mention a few areas where you would really desire these collaborations to come from. Yes, Nigeria is a green economy. We're still growing. Cross River State also is still growing as an economy, But what areas would we begin to wish that, I wish that investment can come from here? This is a more viable, cluster for investments.
Okay, if you talk about Cross River State,
yes,
Cross River State, we have comparative advantage in agriculture and tourism.
Okay.
Well, let's take agriculture for instance. We're presently discussing some opportunities for supply of for instance, cassava.
Okay.
There are companies that require a lot of cassava input. Presently in Cross River State, we can't even meet their demand.
Oh, fantastic.
We can't. Niger mills here. This Niger mills. I'm sorry, now I'm called flour mills. Okay. Most of the inputs are not gotten from Cross River State because the farmers do not have enough to supply, so they have to get from other states. So
cassava, what do they need it for though?
You need cassava. Cassava is part of it's part of what, and cassava is required for what they do there. I think added to what they produce mills, there, and also is also required for industrial starch for pharmaceuticals and all that.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that they were able to meet the demand for this country. What about palm oil? We cannot even meet the demand. Okay, so in Cross River State, there's a lot that can be done in agriculture. So the diaspora people, the agricultural sector has a lot of opportunities for these guys to come in and invest.
Okay.
So they should come in. A few years ago, we had Wilma. You know Wilma?
Wilma,
these Wilma people that came here a few years ago, when they came, they saw the light, so to speak, and they came and took over the old Ibayi oil palm. If you remember the Ibayi oil palm estate and all those estates, they had to cut down all the palms and replant it.
Okay.
Today, they are doing so well, but they can't even meet the demand.
But how long is the gestation period for palm?
Not that, so the breed that they planted is about
more like
3 to 5
hybrids.
years. But 3 to 5 years and they start producing.
Okay.
Yes, 3 to 5 years.
Oh, fantastic.
So we have cassava, we have even cashew. Recently the government has carried on some studies that show that cocoa can even be produced, can do well in Akpabio and in the south. It used to be almost the exclusive preserve of the central, Ikom, Mboki, and Etum. So there's a lot in investment in cocoa, in cashew, in palms, even rice, and so on and so forth. Okay. So there's a lot that this diaspora can come in to invest in Cross River State, due the entire Nigeria in agricultural sector. Of course, tourism. We just celebrated 20 years of Calabar Carnival. There's still a lot of opportunities in tourism, and Cross River State is a very peaceful state. So in the tourism sector, where we also have comparative advantage, I think they can come in and invest. Those are areas they can collaborate. The government is doing, like I said, I'm privileged to know all this by virtue of my position as the president of Chember. There's a lot of engagement that we have with governments, and a lot of these things are, and government actually has no business
doing business.
Government is supposed to provide the enabling environment. And what the government is doing now is to provide the enabling environment for partnership with the private sector to come and take over. And this is the time to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, still on collaborations now, what ministries do you collaborate with out in CALCCIMA? What ministries do you collaborate with in Cross River State? I know that you have a lot of collaborations with MEDA, like you had stated earlier on, but obviously with the Ministry of Commerce as well. But what other ministries do you partner with? Okay,
now, CALCCIMA is all about business. So the Ministry of Commerce, we collaborate with them because they are in charge of commerce and trade in the state. And then we collaborate with the Ministry of Agriculture, for instance, the Project Grow Office, with having a lot of discussions on how best to improve on what they are doing and how the private sector can come in and support what the government is doing in that sector. Ministry of Lands, the GIS, Cross-River GIS.
Okay.
We are interested in what they do because what they do impact on business. Nigeria released the Ease of Doing Business report for 2025.
Okay.
Released by the Presidential Enabling Business Council. And the states that came top, for instance, Lagos State came top. Why did they come top? Because their land administration system is perfect. It's been digitized, and you can get land documents perfected within a short time. I remember that in Cross River State, in the last 8 years before this administration, we're told that no city of us had been signed. But I think that this government has changed all that because now I hear you can get your CFO within 24 hours. Okay, so that's a good improvement. Which makes because businesses need collateral. If you want to access finance now, you need you may need to provide collateral, and the land assets are very good collateral for this purpose. So it makes the business to have easy access to finance, where you can register your land documents, register your land assets easily, so that they can become ready collateral for you to use for business. So I think that the Ministry of Lands and the GIS, Cross-River GIS, we are interested in what they do there. And so far, we've attended a lot of engagements with them, had a lot of engagement with them. And I think that the land administration system in Cross River State is taking it's giving a new lease of life, and a lot is going to happen there. And other ministries all ministries that have to do with business. We're also collaborating with the Office of the Special Advisor to the governor on investments.
Okay.
That's the office that is in charge of the Bakassi Deep Sea Port and the Special Agricultural Processing Zone. These are two great business opportunities that will blow the economy of this state if well implemented. And the private sector, we're interested in how this happens.
You can key in.
And how our members can key in. And it shouldn't be cross-variance or businesses working in the state, operating in the state, that should be able to position themselves to take advantage of these opportunities when they come, when these projects take off. We should be able to position ourselves to take advantage of the business opportunities that come out of there. So every MDA that has to do with business and the economy, we collaborate with them, we engage with them on a continuous basis.
Okay.
And ours is engagement. We're not the labor union, we're not the trade unions, we don't fight, we engage constructively with government to ensure that things are done.
Okay.
And so that the economy is working. And when the economy works well, it's to the advantage of all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Okay, so let me bring you back a little now. CALCCIMA, Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture.
Yeah.
We have touched on commerce, we have touched on industry, we have touched on agriculture, but we have not looked at mines. What's happening within that sector?
Yeah, the solid minerals sector is controlled more or less by the federal government. And unfortunately, it is so. The state government can only watch or participate if they get the license to mine the minerals in the state. We have seen that the federal government can license anybody to come in and start mining minerals without the state government's serious input. So in the mining sector, we think that a lot of reforms still have to take place.
Okay.
Because I was watching on Arise TV yesterday. It was reported that the federal government has not lifted the ban on mining in Zamfara. Okay, and you see everybody engaged in that business. To the best of my knowledge, the solid mineral sector is still controlled, and the licensing is done by the federal government.
Okay.
So only the licensees who operate in the state get license from the federal government, and the state government only, I'm not sure they play a very great part in that. So yes, we not much is happening in that sector, except for people like Lafarge that are mining the limestone. Of course, they bought.
So who will give them license though?
No, in the case of Lafarge, they bought that entire deposit to use for their own operations, for their cement operations.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
But generally, mining licenses are granted by the federal government.
By the federal government. Okay. Let's look at your operations now. I'm wondering, does your operations just end here in Cross River State, or it goes beyond? Is there any sort of synergy with those willing to invest? Is there like a portal where you gather such, data? Is there synergy with maybe Cross Riverians in diaspora?
Yeah.
Is there a portal where people willing to invest, can actually access those portals too?
Okay, I think we're still trying to work on some data.
Okay.
On what is available, so we can provide information on that. Now, in terms of collaboration, CALCCIMA doesn't operate in isolation. We also collaborate with. We are a member of the National Association of Chambers of Commerce in Nigeria, and so collaboration in the area of investments is done. We have collaboration with other chambers and with the national body, which has wider reach in terms of investors who are coming into the country. In fact, we just had the president of the National Association of Chambers of Commerce.
I was going to go there.
We just had the president he visited us in Cross River State, he visited CALCCIMA a few weeks back. And some of the things that we discuss border on investments in the state.
Okay.
In fact, we are trying to attract some big investor in the oil palm sector,
Okay.
the agriculture sector that wants to invest, make very huge investment in that sector in the area of palms and the growing of the area of palms. And we also try to present a blueprint to the government. When the president came, we presented the blueprint to the government. We met with the deputy governor, and the president presented the blueprint on how we can accelerate economic development across our state.
Okay.
Like I told you, our state has comparative advantage in agriculture. We have an investor that's coming in to invest in that sector. So that collaboration is across board. Okay. We also collaborate with MDAs in the state that are like the Minister of Agri and all those MDAs that have that house opportunities that can be invested in by investors from across both the country and across the world.
Okay. Because I was going to ask that, with the visits of the president of NACIMA, what significant progress does he hold for us as Cross Riverians?
No, the NACIMA is just the umbrella body of all chambers of commerce.
All chambers of commerce, yes.
Now, when information about the states, because all state chambers and all city chambers are members of NACIMA, so information is available. Like when the president came, we looked at the opportunities in the agricultural sector in the state, and we concluded that there are a lot of opportunities. So there's this investor that approached NACIMA for investment in agriculture, and it became clear that Cross River State is the destination for that investment.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Sure.
Okay.
It became clear that Cross River State is the destination for that investment. And so
that
we're working on that.
investment is being channeled to Cross River State.
Sure. We're working on that to get that.
Okay. So investment will come as a comparative advantage based on, what each state has a comparative advantage over.
Sure.
Oh, fantastic.
Sure, yes.
Fantastic.
So that is happening. We just attended the Blue Economy Conference in Rio. The blue economy is the new oil emerging sector. A lot of that is to be explored now. And so all that also present opportunity. Cross River State has been a riverine state with aquatic resources, is also a good or has comparative advantage for investments in the blue economy, in the marine sector. So these are all opportunities that come to the table and are valuable. And when we get the chance to know about investors coming into Nigeria, we also showcase what we have, what our state has. And we're able to get these investors to come into the state to invest.
Okay, so I'm going to take you a little further now. When you talked about the blue economy in Cross River State, like what opportunities are there in the blue economy that I can attract investments?
Transportation.
Okay.
Yes. Transportation. For instance, there's this Gulf of Guinea project that the Chember started a few years back. Okay. We have even incorporated the Calabar and Gulf of Guinea Municipal Trade Center. Okay. It's an offshoot of an activity of the CALCCIMA. It's the brainchild of CALCCIMA. Now, the Gulf of Guinea has a lot of investment opportunities. For instance, a lot of transportation takes place between Calabar and Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea and all that. Now, provision of vessels to, for transport to these areas is a huge investment opportunity that we are not taking advantage of yet. One of our members, our vice president in charge of Tinapa and Free Trade Zone, runs the Sea Express Transport Services, the owner of the Sea Express Transport Services, the vice president of the Chember in charge of Tinapa and Free Trade Zone. He's looking at opportunities for investment in the Gulf of Guinea area through transportation and ferry of goods and passengers across this Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, and the Gulf of Guinea area. So there are a lot of opportunities in that sector, and even in fishery and aquatic, other resources, exploitation of other aquatic resources, that has not been done on a large scale. And I think the opportunities in that sector that.
So when you say large scale, where's the place of sustainability? Because obviously we need to also, while we are harvesting and, taking the opportunity, we need to also remember that there's sustainability that has to be done. These
things are factored into all this. For instance, when we have a lot of gift fish and prawns and all that around our rivers, but we are not the ones who exploit them. I hear that fishing trawlers come from very far away and exploit this and take them away. So there's a opportunity for investment in that sector so that people can invest in that and harvest this, not just around the rivers, but even in the high sea. Yes.
Okay, so let's move away from that now. We have a hosting right in Cross River State, the African Sub-Sovereign Government Network, AFSNET 2026 Investment Confab. It's a big one.
It is.
And
it is.
At this moment, I would like to say big congratulations to the governor of Cross River State, for gaining that hosting right. But again, where does that leave us as Cross Riverians? How does this benefit us? How does it benefit, the woman in the markets selling?
Now that sub-sovereign government investment conference,
yes,
the AFNET investment conference that the state has won the hosting right for 2026. This year, 2026 is a huge opportunity really to showcase the potentials in Cross River State because subnationals from across Africa are going to be here. So it's an opportunity to showcase the opportunities that are valuable in Cross River State. And the market woman may not have the opportunity of investing, but there are people who invest. And this multiplier effect will also benefit the market woman on the street. So it's a huge opportunity for Cross River to showcase our potentials because investors are going to come from all over Africa to attend the conference, and we cannot afford but take advantage of that, conference. Anyway. And I think the government has done well by putting the step forward to be the host for that conference.
Definitely. Maybe more like a round of applause
to His Excellency. The government. Yes, thank you.
Distinguished Senator Prince Bassey Iderutu for bringing this hosting right to Cross River State. It's been wonderful talking to you.
And I think the government is quietly doing a lot, actually. This government, from what I know, is quietly doing a lot without making so much noise. Yes, I think we need to commend this government. From my advantage position as the president of the chamber, I can see a lot that is being done. All we need to do and all we are saying is that our people should rise up and see the opportunities and take advantage of them. Fortunately, the government is also willing to support private enterprise. The governor has said that in several fora, that the government is willing to support private and cross-riverians who have viable investment ideas to come forward and seek government support. Yes, pitch and seek government support. Okay. So it's time for us to take advantage of what's happening. And I think that we in CALCCIMA will continue to do our best in terms of advocacy and spreading the good news. So that our members can take advantage of this, and not just our members, even investors from across the world. Whenever we have that opportunity, we'll tell the story of Cross River State.
Fantastic. I think that's the best place to let this conversation rest. Wherever we are, we definitely must tell the story of Cross River State. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you.
Ayamba, the president of CALCCIMA. Thank you so much. It's been really heartwarming listening to you, eye-opening as well, listening to you. And at this moment, would like to say that wherever you are, you have an investment you want to do in Cross River State, the government has nothing to do with business. It only provides an enabling environment for you to come and do your business. Cross River State is a growing economy, it's a green economy. So come in. If it's the agricultural sector, there's a lot of opportunities lined up for you in the agricultural sector. If it's in the tourism sector, there are lots of things that you need, or rather lots of things that you can do in the tourism sector that will be beneficial to you and to Cross Riverians as well. At this point, again, I must say that the AFNET is coming. Cross River State has the hosting right. So align yourself as Cross Riverians so that this can have a multiplier effect on everybody in Cross River State. It's been wonderful having you at the other side, making sure that we give you nothing but the best conversations on this side of the Divide African Diaspora channel in collaboration with CRBC. I'll definitely see you again when I get to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure also to subscribe to this channel, African Diaspora channel and CRBC. Make sure to subscribe, and we would love to hear feedback. So if you're watching, please drop comments as well. Thank you so much, and see you again when I see you. Bye-bye.